Welcome to another week of the weekly Forex forecast. So let's check the fundamental first. So next week, there's a lot of activities next week, especially in terms of United States dollar. So on Monday, we have the holiday, that is the Easter holiday on Monday. So there's no fundamental on Monday, and Tuesday too, nothing on Tuesday. But starting from Wednesday, we have the US CPI, which will determine the USD grave or USD strength. So if we see this CPI coming out below expectation, then that means that there will be a crash in the dollar. But if we see it coming out above expectation, so we should be looking at dollar strength as the DSY is standing on the support level right there. So on Wednesday we have the Bank of England speak, so we don't expect much from there. On Wednesday too, again, we have the Canadian monetary policy. That is they plan to hold their interest rate. So the previous one is 4.50, and then they plan to hold it at 4.50. So they are not going for any rate hike or any cut. So let's see how it goes. If they actually go for rate cut, then we should see Canadian dollar declining. But if we have the increase in the overnight rate, let's say maybe they go for 25 basis points rate hike or 50 basis points rate hike, then we should see the stronger Canadian dollar right there. So on Thursday we have the AUD unemployment rate coming out of the Australian there. So Thursday too, on the United States we have the core PPI, that is the producer price index, that's month over month, and the unemployment claims out of the USD. But the one we focus on this week is the CPI data. So as you all know, CPI is a measure of inflation. So is this data that will make the Fed, that will prompt the Fed to make decision? Maybe they are going for a rate hike in May or a rate cut. So if we now see better than expected inflation data, then we should see US dollar to the upside. And on Friday we have the core retail, and then the retail sales. This one too is used to measure inflation. You have to be very, very careful about this one too. And then the one we have on Thursday, so the PPI and the unemployment claims. Don't forget to, on Wednesday too, we have the FOMC meeting 8 p.m. So this meeting is always move the market. So it depends on what they say this week. You will see the impact in the market. It's 8 p.m. Nigerian time. That is when they're going to release that news right there. So that is all we have for fundamental this week. Take note of the high impact news, and then you know that we started on Wednesday. We might not see move in the market maybe Monday, Tuesday. We might start seeing volatility in the market starting from Wednesday to Friday. So you might make your trading decision start from Wednesday. You can just use Monday, Tuesday to check the directional bias of the market. Then on Wednesday, you might start taking your position on Wednesday, because that is when the volatility will come to the forex market. So let's check the DSY. Taking at the DSY, as you can see, we have the weak rejection candle at this particular area, which means that it didn't close above this particular resistance area. So this means that there is still a room for more downside, movement on the SY. So we are still going to short the SY. But if the CPI now comes out better than expected, so we should see a move to the upside. We should see it breaking this level, and then maybe probably hitting this particular level right there. But if we have a weaker CPI, which means that we have a weaker data, a weaker CPI data, then we should see it declining from this level, probably hitting 99.128. But first of all, the 100 level before 99.128. So that's what I'm looking at on DSY. There is room for more to the downside. So as we see that we have a weak rejection at this particular area and fail to close above this level, so there should be a rejection to the upside. That is the overall sentiment right now, unless the CPI data comes out and prove us wrong. So the first pair we want to look at on Euro USD, might not be taking much this pair into consideration that much, because the odds is not in our favor that much. But what we are looking at is as the DSY becomes weaker, then it means that we have a weaker dollar, then euro USD should be what should be up. So what we are looking at right there is to the upside on euro US dollar. So checking out this level, we can see that using the trend line right there, we have our safe zone, and we have where we will likely to take this particular trade right there. So checking this, we have the respect of trend line here. We have a fake breakout and it's breaking back. Then there's another one, and this is one more time frame. So right here, we are looking for it to retrace to this level. Then we'll take our buy bias from this level, then take our profit from here, because if we check that level, odds might start moving against odds at this particular level, because there is a level of a strong resistance at that particular area right there. So we'll now wait for it to break this level to know that okay, we are going to continue the movement to the upside at that particular level. So but for now, this is where we are going to take our trade for now. But mind you, we might see a breakout, and then this is the last sell zone I have right there. So we might actually see a breakout to the downside, then we might actually take the trade from there. Then the target is 1.037. So that is almost, from here is almost 200 and something pips from here. So let's see how it goes right there. But from here is almost like 150 to 160 pips right there. So this is the safe zone. If you see a breakout at this level to the downside, just you might put your buy limit at this area. But if it breaks this level, then you have to leave it for some time. Maybe we'll have a rejection there, or there will be a sell. But it depends on what happened on the CPI data. If the CPI data comes out better than expected, then we should see it coming to this low. I think we will see euro USD coming back to this particular low right here if the CPI data comes out better than expected. So the next pair I want to check out is GBP USD. As you see, GBP USD has broken this resistance level right there. There's a break of this resistance, and then there is obviously a weak test at a particular level. So this is where we are looking to take our long position on GBP USD. Then they take profit at 1.26 3020. But if you see a breakout of this, a break back of this particular area, so that is when it's advisable not to take trade till after the CPI on Wednesday. So you have to be reactive, not predictive. So if the CPI data comes out better than expected, then we might see it breaking back to this particular area. Then we might come and hit this low. It's very possible. If you have a weaker CPI data, then we should see a move to this particular area. So starting from Wednesday, so that is at 1.26 3020. And Monday to Tuesday, we might just be seeing what we call a rally in the market. We might not have that kind of big volatility coming into the market because there is no fundamental, and then we have bank holiday on Monday. So the next one is AUD USD. So this AUD USD, we might have to leave it till we have the CPI data, and then if the CPI data comes out better than expected, let's say US, it comes out better than expected for US and it is strong. So this is one of my favorite pair to trade in respect to that news. So actually we might see maybe a retracement to this side, but I'm favoring downside movement on AUD USD, as AUD is one of the weak currency right now, AUD, and then SND is the weakest currency at this particular level. So let's say we see a retracement to this level. I'm looking for a downside movement to 0.64358 on AUD USD. So that is one planning to take on AUD. But I'm actually waiting till Wednesday before I take my decision on it. But actually, if we now see a weaker CPI, then probably we might see a break to the upside. But right now, I'm taking this trade in respect if I see a stronger CPI data coming out of the US dollar, because if you check this right now, we have a breakout already. There is a very, very obvious breakout at this particular level. But actually, we might see a retracement, then a move to the downside. So the next pair I want to check out is US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD to Canadian dollar. So if you check the daily time frame, on the daily time frame we have a rejection at this particular area, that is at the trend line, and it closed above this particular level. As you can see, this is the level right here. It did what? It closed above it. So we are keeping this trade for the aftermath of the CPI result. So if the CPI result came out better than expected, then maybe actually might see retracement and then a move to 1.36761. If it comes out, let's say worst, or if it comes out below expectation, then we might actually see a break to the downside on US dollar CAD. That is where we'll be looking at this area for a target. So then obviously this might be the first target and this might be the second target if the CPI later comes out below expectation. So the next one we want to check is SND USD. SND USD to in respect to the AUD USD. So actually we have not seen a very clear visible breakout on SND USD, but if we have the CPI data coming out better than expected, then we should see SND USD moving to 0.61049. As you can see that this place is a very strong key resistance level, and we have what we call the double top at this particular area, and this is the neckline, as you can see. So if the CPI data comes out better than expected, then you might see SND JPY decline to 0.61049. US dollar JPY, this next week you might actually see the risk of coming out into the market, as Swiss franc is one of the strongest currency now right now, Swiss franc and the Japanese yen. So actually we might actually see a risk of coming into the market. If we have a risk of coming into the market, then actually US JPY should decline. So this is what I'm looking at on US dollar JPY. So I'm looking at maybe a retracement to this level, then to retest this particular level, then it declined to 1.126853. So if I see a breakout of this level, then it means that maybe we have the CPI data coming out above expectation. That's when we can see the breakout of the particular level. But if that did not come out of play, then we might actually see a retest of this level, then it declined to 1.26853. So the next one I want to check is Canadian dollar Japanese yen. This one is we are on this trade since last week. We are hoping for it to decline at this particular level to the downside. So that is our projection on Canadian dollar Japanese yen, as we are in a risk of environment right now. So I'm looking for Canadian JPY to decline at this particular level. If I thought there will be a retracement, then maybe you might see it coming to this level before declining to 95272. So the overall bias on Canadian dollar JPY is to the downside. So any retracement you see should give you an opportunity or should give you what we call a bearish bias opportunity. So on Australian dollar Swiss franc as the next pair, as you can see, we are in a declining phase since. So this one might actually retrace to this level before the further decline to the downside at this particular level. So actually you might see a move to this side, or maybe a move to this particular area. So the overall bias on AUD Swiss franc is to the downside at this particular level. So the next one we want to check is AUD Canadian dollar. AUD Canadian dollar too. Actually this might actually be a fake breakout, but if we see more weakness in Australian dollar, it means that we might actually test this place, then decline to 0.80040. But it depends on what happened on the monetary policy of the Canadian dollar. So if they actually increase the interest rate, then we should see it to AUD CAD to 0.80040. But if they lower the interest rate, then we should see this moving to the upside to that particular high right there. But if it comes out as expected, then we should consider the AUD weakness and then we should see move to 0.88040. So the next one I want to check is GBP. This is GBP CHF. This is one of the my best entry for this particular week, because last week we project that it's going to drop to this particular level. Right now we should see it drop to this particular level because we have a fake breakout last week and it's actually this the second fake breakout. Then now we should see a decline to 1.09944. So the next one I want to check is Euro Canadian dollar. So checking out the Euro Canadian dollar, you can see that we have formation of head and shoulder at this particular area, then which in respect to the option. So now we should see a move to this to the high here, right there. So that's this is our safe zone right here. Anything below this second shoulder, we might not be taking the buy position right there. So the last one I want to check is AUD Japanese yen. So AUD Japanese yen is to the downside. So what I'm looking at is a retracement to this level, then a then a decline to 86.00. 86, that is at 86.021. So that's what I'm looking at. This is where I'm looking at to take my short position on AUD JPY. So that's all for the weekly forex forecast for this week, because we don't have much for this week. We might start taking your trade as from Wednesday, because Monday there is back holiday due to the Easter, and then Tuesday there's no much activities on Tuesday. So starting from Wednesday, after the CPI, after the monetary policy of the Canadian dollar, you can start taking your trade. So if you are just watching this weekly forex forecast, or you are just watching this channel for the first time, please click on like, subscribe, and share. So